A good day to everyone. My name is Mark Aldrich Iagas from BSE 1K, and I am tackling the managing and caring for the self, for understanding the self. Before I start, here's the quotation of managing and caring for the self. It is that knowing the self is not enough since who you are is partly made up of your choices. You must also have the ability to choose, especially to be a better you. In the school setting, your knowledge of yourself should at least enable you to become a better student. In my understanding about the quotation is that we must not just know ourselves more, and our life is made up of choices, and we must choose for the betterment of ourselves. In school setting or in our school is that we have to be acquired the best learning that we can acquire for us to become a better student or better us. Self-care. Self-care describes a conscious act one takes in order to promote their own physical, mental, and emotional health, and the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. Self-care is more on giving your own concern and attention to your self-needs in order to have self-care. It is also has been defined as multidimensional, multifaceted process of purposeful engagement in strategies that promote healthy functioning and enhance well-being. It is vital for building resilience towards those stressors in life that you can't eliminate. When you've taken steps to care for your mind and body, you'll be better equipped to live your best life. We are Homo sapiens, or that our ancestors and most, if not all of the other, we are also capable to think in a certain way about things, about how it thinks about itself. In the context of learning, the studies how that when you are able to think about how you think, how you process information, and how you utilize techniques while you are studying, you have a higher chance of improving your learning process than those who do not reflect on their methods metacognition. What is metacognition? It is an awareness of one's own thoughts, processes, and an understanding of the patterns behind them. The term comes from the root word meta, meaning beyond or on top of. Metacognition can take many forms, such as reflecting on one's own ways of thinking and knowing when and how to use particular strategies for problem solving. As in for the above-mentioned definition, metacognition has two aspects. First is the self-appraisal, and the second is self-management of cognition. Self-appraisal is your personal reflection on your knowledge and capabilities, while self-management is the mental process that you employ using what you have in a planning and adopting to successfully learn or accomplish a certain task. Similar concepts, usually called elements of metacognition, are metacognitive knowledge, or what you know about how you think, and metacognition regulation, or how you adjust your thinking process to help you learn better. Under metacognitive knowledge are several variables that affects how you as a thinker. First is the personal variable, that is your evaluation of your strength and weakness in the learning. Second is the task at you know, or what you think about the nature of the task as strategies the task requires. Lastly, the strategy variable that refers to or skills you are already have in the dealing with a certain task. MAI, or metacognitive awareness inventory. We do this task, then as you all see, when you review your MI result and your answer during the analysis, do you feel the result do not represent you? rather than dismissing the test or the result if you feel any incongruence to your perception. Try to analyze if your answers were upright and think of the specific instances when you were learning something. Think also of the various factors that make the learning experience successful and enjoyable for you, including your emotions and motivations at the certain period. By knowing the above reflection, you are actually utilizing the metacognitive skills. Here are other skills that might help you with exercising metacognition. First is knowing your limits. As mentioned earlier, one cannot really make my significant advancement in using metacognitive skills without having an honest and accurate evaluation of what you know and what you do not know. Second is modifying your approach. It begins with a metacognition that your strategy is not appropriate with the task and or that you are not comprehending the learning experience successfully. Third, skimming. This is basically browsing over a material and keeping an eye on the key words, phrases, or sentences. Four is rehearsing. This is not just repeatedly talking, writing, and or doing what you have learned, but also trying to make a personal interpretation or summary of the learning experience. Fifth, or the number 5, self-test. As the name implies, this is trying to test your comprehension of your learning experience or the skills that you have acquired during learning. Other strategies that you need to develop including asking questions as well as questioning your methods, self-reflection, finding a mentor or support your group if necessary, thinking out loud, though you have to be considerate of others also when doing this, and welcoming errors as learning experiences. For clarification, welcoming errors does not mean seeking them or consciously making them as much as possible. The praise means that when you commit a mistake, you do not praise means that when you commit a mistake, you do not dismiss it insignificant, or you do not try to avoid responsibility of the results. You must process them to learn responsibility of every lesson that you about the topic and other people or things. By having a more positive attitude towards mistake, you will also have the courage to venture into new and unknown learning experience that may one day interest you. Here are the types of metacognitive learning and other strategies. First, the tacit learner who are unaware of their metacognitive process, although they know the extent of their knowledge. Second, the aware learners who are aware of some of their metacognitive strategies, but use techniques that are not always planned. Third, the strategic learners as the name implies, who strategize and course of action toward the learning experience. Lastly, the reflective learners who reflect on their thinking while they are using the strategies and will adapt their metacognitive skills depending on the situation. As you may have noticed, the goal of metacognition is more for the student to be a self-regulated learner. Education should not be limited by the capabilities of the teacher, the content of school textbooks, the 4 concerns of the classrooms, and the duration of the academic year or courses. One should have the capability to study things on his or her own of the benefits in using metacognitive techniques. This is one of the benefits in using metacognitive techniques and strategies. Another benefit is the compensation and development of cognitive limitations of the learner, because the student is now aware of his or her capabilities. Various researches also showed significant improvement in the academic performance in any subject and across age range. The student is also enabled to transfer knowledge from one context to another. As you were reading the topic, the questioning is, were you aware of your metacognitive process? What changes do you feel as you try to use the metacognitive strategies and skills? We encourage you to utilize and adopt the aforementioned techniques in whatever learning experiences you are about to accomplish and find enjoyment and success in learning. May you find best path while taking the journey of success, and don't forget to manage and care yourself and make a better relation to others. Thank you.